Yep.
So we had case 4, and it was about the Rochester manufacturing process design. Amanda, and my group was me, Emily, and Carly. So to begin, if you want to look along, our case was in my own lab. It's the Chapter 7 strategy case study. If you just search Rochester under my own lab, or Chapter 7 and then hit case study if you want to look along. But ours was about a precision machining job for metal and plastic parts that all has to be made identically. And the company is based in Ohio. And the company provides these products to be able to build equipment in fields for medicine or agriculture. It's currently operating under a traditional system, which means it produces high variety, but produces also in low volume. So machine utilization is currently at 10%. They're currently considering switching to a flexible manufacturing system, FMS, which would allow them to go from 15 to 4 machines. Personnel would be from 15 and cut to as low as 3 people, and floor space would go from 20,000 square feet to just about 6,000. And outputs would also take about 1 to 2 days instead of 7 to 10. So overall, it would show 750,000 savings for inventory reduction, and annual labor savings would be around 300,000 per year. However, it would cost about $3 million for machinery, and then there would also be transition and startup costs. However, utilization would now be around 30%.
We can look at the process design of the company. Right now, they're using what is called a traditional numerically controlled machine. It's an automated control of machines by a computer with no manual operator. It's completely machine run, and there's little room for flexibility. As it's run by a computer, there's specific numbers and inputs that the machine is looking for. So since each machine has a specific task, you need to have a separate machine for each step of the process. And the system they're looking to get right now is called the flexible manufacturing system. It's also a computer machine, but it allows for increased flexibility and the ability to adapt to change. It can adapt to change that's both expected and unexpected, and it can change the type and quantity of the product that is being produced. So this allows you to have less machines, as each machine can do multiple steps in the process. And the question that we want to evaluate throughout our presentation is, which process should the company choose?
So this is a design process that we came up with for the company, and it kind of just shows maybe like what they would be thinking with which process to go with. And it is important to consider the design process for the company so that they can discover ways to enhance their existing practices to make their products better for their customer and leave their customers happier and more satisfied with their experience. So we started by defining the problem. In this instance, it could be the low utilization and the processing times. Then we move on to brainstorming, where we're going to consider all the aspects of production and what is currently happening. Then we can research and generate ideas. So this would be considering switching systems as a possible solution. Then we're going to explore the possibilities by further developing the ideas that we came up with. And then finally, we'll select an approach. In this case, it would be the FMS system. And then we'll develop a design proposal by outlining all the pros and cons of switching or selecting this approach. We will consider how the customer's needs are affected. This is a big priority of the process design. In this instance, the customers are buying parts for equipment, so we can assume they'll be happier if we are running more efficiently, as they're able to receive products quicker. And then we'll implement the idea or the change. So this will confirm a switch from traditional to the FMS system. And then we can evaluate and consider how the FMS has changed the company, and then communicate and process all the results to see if this was like efficient.
So our first question up for anyone to answer is that if the company were to make the switch, what are some new potential problems or possible benefits?
I think some potential problems would be like they would first have to get the kinks out of like the new system. So like it would kind of like have a time of like problems, and then after they got rid of their problems of the like this new system, I think it would probably definitely benefit them.
Okay. So what we've found as possible new benefits or problems is definitely for benefits would be improved efficiency. And then also, since products take 1 to 2 days instead of 7 to 10, that would avoid possible backups or bottlenecks in inventory. And then for new problems, definitely the high startup costs, as you said, and the high risk with the uncertain future. But it's also there'd be like the training on how to use the new system and like the time to switch. And also, it's one of the prompts, but it says how return on investment would be 10 to 15% instead of traditionally well over 15%. And also, in general, it just might not be worth switching if the already established system is working fine.
So another question we wanted to ask is which aspects of QPick does this case consider with a switch to FMS? So with QPick, you can consider the quality, production, inventory, and capacity in regards to RMC and how each aspect is taken into consideration for their design process. So does anyone want to talk about which aspect they think would be highly considered by switching?
I'd honestly, inventory and capacity would probably have a huge, profound impact because this is a lot to do with kind of changing the inventory cycle of the company, and capacity that kind of goes hand in hand with production. It'll increase production quality and also make the capacity more efficient and higher.
Okay, so when we analyzed it, we noticed that for quality, it adapts to changes and that allows for increased accuracy within the problem, and that's in regards to the FMS system. And then for process, it is a faster process and a smoother process. Inventory, we would have a decreased square footage and personnel, so it'd be more to work with, kind of less happening in the actual space. And then for capacity, of course, there'll be less machinery and higher efficiency. So we believe that process and inventory are highly considered with the switch to FMS.
So after learning about the problems, benefits, and QPick, do you guys think buying the FMS system is a good decision?
I think overall it would turn out to be a good decision, yeah. Maybe not in the beginning though, but the overall benefit, yeah.
Yeah, I think in the long run it would turn out to be a better decision.
So the first question that we answered was, as a productions manager for RMC, what do you recommend? So we decided that the productions manager will focus on the process design to increase the company's success. The FMS system will lessen the amount of machinery used and increase efficiency of the machines being used. This will be a benefit for the customer because the fewer machines produce more accurate product at a quicker rate. This will also decrease labor costs and inventory due to less needed personnel and quicker processing. Ultimately, efficiency is increased within the company as savings are incurred and processes are advanced. But as we have learned, minimizing inventory cost is efficient for a company to do since it's the most expensive cost. Also, the shorter amount of days to process parts helps keep the inventory levels more accurate. It also keeps inventory down with the less raw materials, work in process, the whole process will be shortened. So overall, we think that it will allow for better control and more efficient process. So we believe that the production manager would opt to recommend for it.
Another perspective we could look at is that of a conservative plant manager who wants to maintain the status quo until the returns are more obvious. So we thought that the plant manager would be more focused on making sure the operations are running smoothly and that the new system will still be able to make a profit for the plant. So we said he would be against the FMS system because the return on investment is only 10 to 15%. And usually the return on investment for projects of this nature is a lot higher. And also the payback period would be too long. So the numbers don't really align with getting the new system. Also, there could be many hidden costs associated with the system. You'd have to rework the entire layout of the plant and train the employees how to use the new systems. Also, there are many uncertain risks. There's no way to 100% guarantee that this new system will actually make the company any more money. So they would argue that the current process right now is capable of producing enough and that there's nothing wrong with the process right now. So the current process would outweigh the benefits of the new system because of the uncertainty and risk.
Then our third prompt was if you were preparing the case for an optimistic sales manager, that you should move ahead with it now. This is because the improved process would offer better delivery times and improved quality, which may yield a higher market share, in turn, which, if the company is already above break even, is good for profitability and ROI would increase. So for the manager, it would make their tasks easier since there's fewer machines and fewer people to manage, and also the huge reduction on labor costs. Also, there's overall better utilization since more floor space will be available and machines will be better used.
And to sum everything up, we thought we would talk about the importance of process design in relation to our case. So process design can be essential for any business in many ways. One being that it can create value and save money. So in our case, now the customer is getting the product in a more efficient way, and the improved process design can save money on machine and labor costs. They're going from having 15 machines to 4 machines, and then 15 employees to 3 employees. Process design can also create a competitive advantage for a company. So if they're the first company to pioneer using this FMS system, then they'll stand out to their competitors and be seen as the more successful company. And process design can also have a positive long-term implication on the company. So if they can find a system that works for them right now, it'll save them money in the future trying to rework it. So we said ultimately process design can set the company up to be more successful in the future. Okay, thank you.
That was actually good. Thank you.
Any question for this group? I thought you guys answered the questions very well. If I just talk about their decision as a conservative manager and optimistic manager, I would say, Emily said, increase the market. Is it Amanda or Emily? One of them said that increase market share is profitability. So I think it depends on the market situation, how fierce the market is. Although if I were I am a conservative person, and I would not recommend going with the system because it says it's only 10 or 15% of ROI. So it will take a lot of time to get even and get some profit out of this investment. So it's a risky decision. However, if the market is going fierce and customers are going to other competitors, then I think it's important to align their processes with their demand. Because in the beginning they said the high variety, right? That's what they said. So high variety means it requires lots of customization, and current system cannot really handle high customization level. So they need to make changes, and the market is getting fierce and competition is high, and there are demand out there. Sure, I think they have to make a stretching move in this case. But if I am just a conservative manager and looking on the horizon as, it will not change a lot, but then I will just stay with the process and think about other ways to improve. That's my comments for that. Thank you for your presentation today.